Are we on now?
Yep.
We're on the record now,
I'm ready when you
streaming.
guys are.
Just to let everyone know.
Okay.
And I have the
I will
sheriff
go ahead
and Fabrizio and Bobby here in the room with me.
Great. Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, and I will hand it over to you.
Okay, so the first item for consideration is considering approval of the county's phased reopening plan. We've previously disseminated a copy of the most recent version along with resolution 20-05083L, which formally approves the plan by the Board of Commissioners and has some authorizations as far as the board chair signing any additional documents to the extent they'll be necessary, and I don't know if they will be or not, but it's always good to throw that in there. So, yeah.
I want to thank Melissa for the work she did in putting that together on our behalf. It was a big job and a nicely done job. And with that, I move we approve resolution 20-05-083L.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor?
Well,
Aye.
Oh, whoops. Did that
What?
make
am I being a fly in the ointment here?
Yes.
Oops.
Let's finish the vote and then we'll discuss it. If you have anything, I mean, if there's something we need to go back and fix, we will, but we're partway through the vote now.
Well, yeah,
So,
I wanted to follow up with Captain Fabrizio because I hadn't heard an update regarding whether he had heard back from all emergency responders in the county.
For the most part, all police and fire, which includes pro-social owner plan, have indicated they have sufficient PPE in order to continue operating in the limited future. So that should meet the criteria. The only person I haven't heard back from is Bay City's ambulance. I have a call out to them. I called the main office, and the lady that answered didn't want to give me an answer. It has passed my number to the supervisor on duty, who has not unfortunately returned my call. However, to my knowledge, they are doing pretty well on their PPE since they are supposed to locally source it on their own. They're not relying on state agencies, and they have past practices of. Other than that, everybody has indicated an affirmative as far as the spirit of the criteria, I believe.
Okay.
great. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I just wanted to
Nat,
follow up on that.
did you have anything else you needed to cover before we finish our vote?
No, that would be it.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, John. Opposed? And motion carried. Nat, there is a specific person that this goes to. Are you comfortable sending all this up there this afternoon? You have the final copy. You have our resolution. Is there anything else you need?
Not that I'm aware of, and I believe I have an email from you which indicates the email address to which to send this.
Okay.
I think.
And Bobby has, I think you do. I thought I sent it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bobby has the authority to use all of our stamps to get it signed. And apparently they're being processed in the order in which they're received. So I think we'd like to get it out today.
Okay, we will.
Thanks. Unless one of my fellow commissioners doesn't agree. I mean, I think that's the track we're on.
I agree. Get it done as quickly as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Do we have another? I haven't looked at your agenda. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. So this may have been covered in the last call, honestly, because I heard some discussion about parks going on there. I know John's been working on that, so I put that on as something to discuss. But so, John, I don't know if that's necessary or not. So.
I did discuss it in the last meeting. Is there anyone here that wants to repeat? I'll be happy to do it again. The others on the line may not be happy to hear it again.
We're always happy to hear you.
I'm not sure that I'm not sure that everybody caught it, and it's still processing that recording before we can put it up. So I would appreciate if you would
All
go
right.
through a brief update again.
Well, given the state's permission to reopen parks, if done in a very cautious way, we decided earlier this week to reopen Riley, Bastendorf, Laverne, Powers, and 10 Mile to camping, overnight camping only. We are not allowing day use. The concern there is that we would not have control over the numbers, and that we would not be able to maintain safe distancing protocols. The camping is available by prepaid reservation only, which will enable us to control the numbers. Only every other camping slot will be used, which will enable us to, or assist campers in maintaining social distancing. The bathrooms will be closed because we didn't feel we were able to sanitize them appropriately given the virus circumstances. So that means that people would have to come with their own RVs or campers and bring their own restrooms with them. I haven't had a report this morning on bookings. Yesterday afternoon, we were getting modest bookings. Very few at that time at Riley, because we typically get almost no one from the county that bothers to camp there. They have easier ways to get to the dunes, apparently. The report I had was a comfortable number of bookings are coming in, so they think it's a good opening. We've not publicized it. I think it did get quite a bit of publicity, however, on social media, and one of the radio stations picked it up here locally. I think that covers it. If I missed something.
Maybe I missed it, but the day use discussion that we had right at the end was all. I've been getting that question from people.
Oh, yeah, I did address that early on, that we're not allowing day use
Sorry.
because we felt we would not be able to control the numbers, particularly at Riley, where we would be absolutely overwhelmed. It might be worthwhile noting that there's some controversy regarding the dunes. We were working with the U.S. Forest Service. They contacted me several weeks ago and said that they want to do what the local entities wanted them to do, and they would open when we are ready to have the dunes open. And then a week after that, they called me and said that they're opening the Douglas County segment of the dunes because Douglas County was opening their parks, and they wanted people to have access to the dunes. So when we decided to open ours, I tried to reach them. Unfortunately, it turned out the lady I've been communicating with was ill, and it took her 2 days to recover and get back to me. And that was Thursday. And Thursday morning, I reiterated what I'd left her messages to ask. And by about noon that day, she'd completed meeting with the people she thought necessary within her organization, and came back saying good news. We're opening for Douglas and Coos counties. However, here comes the bad part. To limit number of people in the dunes, we will not be allowing anyone on the dunes other than guests of your park and Douglas County's park. I immediately responded to that, thanking her for opening the dunes in part and encouraging her to make that available not only to the county parks but to other parks and other citizens, because I thought it was not just, and because I thought it was going to create crowding at those points where it is open. So my understanding is that U.S. Forest Service is working on that, and my guess is that they'll make the opening a little more general next week, but I don't really know that. It's created significant concern amongst the operators of private camps that cater to the dunes crowd?
Well, concern would be a mild thing. Apparently, Forest Service started a firestorm. They thought somehow, the privates thought somehow we had a backroom deal somehow to get Riley open and not them. I've been fielding question after question after question about how come the county's open but we're not, and why can't we come to the big parking lot with some of our guests and let them go out in the dunes, paying the $3 daily thing, and let them go out in the dunes and through Riley. They said, if you remember, county, when you did not have the bridge for Riley yet, you were transporting them by vehicle and flatbed trailer to our parks, and we were accommodating by allowing them to park flatbeds, et cetera, there, and let them stage from there, and then let you come and pick them up. So I had to acknowledge that they were very generous in allowing us to do that. So I'm kind of confused as why we're not allowing for, just park their vehicle, offload their ATV, get in and go on out to the dunes through Riley.
Social distancing, we would be overwhelmed. I don't think we could have any control. I addressed that with one of the owners of the private camps, and he accepted it just this morning. And I think the difference is that at the time we were transporting our guests to his facility, we weren't dealing with a virus, a very, very contagious.
Well, that's true, but we had a difficult.
Yeah, it's not fair. I don't like it one bit, but I as much as I'd like to accommodate as many people as possible, I also want to make sure that we're being safe. And I don't know if I mentioned or not, but our camping is open only to county citizens. And if we were to open our parking lot at Riley to whomever wanted to show up, we would not be in compliance with the governor's traveling restrictions. And frankly, I'm thinking that might be one of the reasons that the Forest Service didn't open up to the private owners. Let me call you right back. Okay, thanks. So that's where we are in parks. Everything seems to be going. The Parks Department has put together some really good signage, encouraging people, not encouraging them, telling them to maintain social distancing or leave, kind of. A little more nicely than that, but they're very blunt about that. And we have handouts that the Public Health Department helped us with to give to each of our campers, asking them to take extra precautions to prevent spread of the virus.
And when you say campers, you mean only self-contained RVs?
Yes, I mean only self-contained RVs.
So,
the way to remember it is that it's restricted. It's a BYOB situation. Bring your own bathroom.
Good one.
So, how long are we going to have this restriction of not allowing the people to stage at the parking lot? A week?
Not allowing people to what?
I think my
the parking
plan,
lot.
what I talked about was that we would maintain a county-only posture for 2 weeks, this weekend and next weekend. And if everything is going well, then we would open up to other counties in the southwestern corner of Oregon, before Memorial Day weekend. But that's not a decision that I think we should make firmly yet. And even then, I don't know that we would want to open it up for day use. We would have no bathroom facilities for the people. My hope would be that other facilities would be opened up so that our parking lot wouldn't be necessary. And I really kind of have a feeling that, hopefully I'm right, that the dunes will, the Forest Service will broaden their broaden their usage next week.
Yeah, even if they do broaden their usage, I would think that we would put a sign on the Santa cans and stuff, and or the bathrooms, the regular ones, that we clean regularly, but users are advised that they should take all precautions, and we should add that to our discretional immunity list.
I'm not sure, Bob, at this point that's been discussed, but I'm not sure at this point that has been allowed yet by the state and by Health Authority. And I just received word that the governor's order relating to campgrounds, which was expected out this week, won't be out until next week. So all we have to go with on is what we heard over the phone from the governor. No, not from the governor. From state parks and the governor's assistant for recreation. So nothing's formalized yet, but there was talk of doing exactly what you're talking about there, and just saying that the restrooms aren't sanitized. But I don't believe we have permission to do that yet. I do know the governor is very interested in making camping available to people other than those that can afford an RV or a camper. But I don't know that we have, in fact, I'm pretty sure we don't have the right to, if we open it up to whoever wants to use our parking lot, we're opening it up to Portland and Washington and every place else. And we, frankly, our use at Riley is very, very heavy to the state of Washington.
Yeah. Good point, John. And I mean, we want to get people started going out again, but we don't necessarily want to hit tourism traffic full speed the first weekend out the door, or even the third weekend out the door.
I'm really sorry that the U.S. Forest Service didn't give us allow more use, but they didn't. And, I just think it's really important that we do what we can to provide our citizens, to the best of our ability, which is limited, a place to go. And we've done a pretty good job of that, and we've done it within the boundaries set by the state and within the boundaries set by common sense, given the seriousness of how contagious this thing is. And I know it's a lot of pressure. I even had one of the parks operators say, well, then certainly you're not going to operate if we can't. You're not going to open. And I said, oh no, I have no intentions of not opening. And but we're going to work hard to see that you get to open as quickly as possible. Well, you'll hear about that in the papers, and we have. Or on the TV. Lucia?
We have limited control over what the Forest Service chooses to do. Really, we have none. So we can show that this can be done safely, that this can be done efficiently, and I think it's important that we set a good example on how this can be done in a way that still keeps people safe and healthy.
I have a hunch that I was certainly under the impression, although maybe I was mistaken, that the Forest Service, when they were talking to me, was talking about opening for everyone, not just for the counties. I am very suspicious that someone at the state who is very concerned about, and rightfully so, about our getting a lot of people traveling from places that we wouldn't want to have here because of their of the possibility of their having the virus. I suspect the state pushed U.S. Forest Service to limit this. I don't know that, but the state has been very, very clear that opening the parks does not mean that they are opening up travel, unnecessary travel. So I think that's where we are, and I'd like to be able to keep this open for the citizens of our county for a while, and hopefully not get closed by not being sufficiently cautious.
All right, so.
And I understand that the lady that has been communicating with me is taking this concern to her superiors, and hopefully it'll be addressed.
Okay, any other discussion with regarding parks?
No, that's it for me. Thanks.
Okay.
Not for me either.
All right, so the third item is Resolution 2005-082L, which is in the matter of formalizing Coos County's approval of the intergovernmental agreement for the distribution of community service fees. One thing to note is in the draft resolution that I sent out, it says the 6th day of May, and it should say the 8th day of May. I will make that correction. That's in the preamble to the resolution. And what this is essentially just formalizing the community service fee that we already approved back on September 3rd of 2019, just creating a document for that approval.
Okay, move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Second. Discussion? All those in
Nope.
favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
And can we use your stamps for this one as well?
Yes.
Please.
Okay, so I can get that out to the zone manager today as well. And then after that, it's just anything else miscellaneous, if there's any additional subjects.
I don't have anything else. Commissioners?
I don't either. Have a good weekend, everyone. It's
Yeah,
going to be beautiful.
me either.
Yeah, you too.
You guys too. I think I'd like to try to do, we got good feedback on the Zoom meeting we held today,
Yeah.
the go-to meeting that we held today. I'd like to do it again next week if you guys are up for it. Just think about it for the weekend if you want.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just plan on it then.
Okay. Thank you.
Now that we're practically virtual meeting experts,
Well, having this 2-hour meeting block, though, during lunch hour is pretty...
you can eat a sandwich. Nobody's judging.
Yeah, a precaution. It'll just before 11 o'clock. Planning ahead.
Well, thank you guys.
Early this morning, yeah.
I know.
Is we having a magic
Alright.
word?
Yeah, we're adjourned. Sorry. Talk to you soon.
Bye.